Potent pondering, yo. So y'all already know everything going on with Kamala Harris campaign being under scrutiny. Everybody talking about how they raised over $1 billion, and the money just seems like it's unaccounted for. They acting like, it's a deficit of 20 million. Well, anyway, the New York Times came out with an article, and they were saying how Roland Martin got paid $350,000, Al Sharpton got $500,000. Oprah Winfrey, she lied too, because when they approached her outside that Range Rover and they told her to pull that thing over, she said she ain't get no money. Now, she could have explained that she took $1 million for her production company for that event that they threw, but she didn't mention that. Anyway, please make sure that you come in, thumbs up this video, subscribe to the channel, all of that, right? So Tariq Nasheed, he did some commentary on the whole ordeal with Roland Martin. I think Roland Martin misunderstands Tariq Nasheed's stance. Tariq Nasheed didn't appreciate, because listen, first and foremost, you can't tell anybody who to vote for or to vote or to not vote, right? I think that Tariq Nasheed, his whole MO was in regards to what was being offered to black people from the Democratic Party, and there was no offerings. There were no bills being passed, like how the Koreans got the hate bill passed during the whole pandemic. Questioning that, and also questioning the reparations. So that was his thing. So Roland Martin and other people, which I believe led to Trump coming in, not Trump, I'm sorry, with Obama coming in, and it's kind of like was like he was ridiculing black men. That left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. And I want to be completely honest with you before I play this audio from Tariq Nasheed. I thought that like online, on Twitter and stuff like that, like, that they call it at the Grassroots, I thought that those conversations were kind of left there. So as it seems, Roland Martin is obviously a fan of Tariq Nasheed, because it's like he can't be that underground for you to know what he's talking about. So, excuse me. So it seems as though that Tariq Nasheed, he's on Roland Martin's ass pretty much, right? And Roland Martin mentioned his name as well in his response to the New York Times. So listen, let's waste no time. Let's just get straight into this, and I'm gonna give my commentary at the end.
And Roland Martin, this the New York Times says, Roland Martin, who hosts his own streaming programming and runs a media company called New Vision Media, received $350,000 in September for a media buy. Come on, Roland. Roland got him that bag he's been campaigning for. Roland has been campaigning for a bag from the DNC. That's why you see Roland always talking crap about us and denigrating us. Roland got him a nice big bag, and he was on Twitter explaining, well, other media companies get money too. I'm going to explain more on my show. Other media companies get money. But this is not no, Roland did a fake interview as if he was giving an objective interview. That wasn't just a media buy. That was a finesse. He was sitting down asking her these softball-ass questions as if he was giving a legitimate interview. That's not journalism. That's not journalism. They're paying you to speak up and big up a person. That's how horrible Kamala Harris is. That's how horrible of a candidate she was. That's why she lost. You had to pay people to speak highly of you. Yeah, people are going to... Listen, I knew these people were getting paid just by how passionate they were in denigrating us for her. Every time we say something, boy, they jump up rabid. Hey, don't you say that, you stupid fool. Why are you talking about her? Man, y'all hate black women. Y'all misogynists. We're like, wait a minute. There's nothing about Kamala Harris that would make anybody want to defend her that much. There's nothing about that woman's personality. There's nothing about that woman's policy that would make anybody want to sit up there and defend her. You have to be getting paid. And as we see, sure enough, they were getting paid. These people were getting big dollars. Nikki, what's up, beloved?
Hi, Tariq. How you doing?
I'm
I
good.
don't blame you for not trusting these Democratic shill apps like Blue Sky. I think their plan is to get you comfortable with their app to the point where you depend on it. That way they can tell you how to disseminate your information, leading them to controlling the narrative. Although I don't like being called the N-word randomly like I do so often over here, I'll stay over here until we get a codified lineage-based app that we can depend on. Now, for Roland Martin, I've been telling people that he has been spying on us. It's not a coincidence that he keeps popping up on posts from the family, quite often I just happen to be scrolling and I see him pop his fat head out of nowhere and start calling one of us out of our names or saying things to try to delegitimize us. I found it odd that he was not afraid to let the world know that he was regularly monitoring our social media activity. Now it's become apparent that he wanted his masses to see him doing a good job. But lastly, Plies, he had to be receiving a check or at least auditioning for one, because the months leading up to the election, he did more booty clapping for Kamala than anybody. And then immediately after the election was over, he did a 360 and started acting like a scorned lover that was afraid to approach the actual person he was upset with. He also blocked me for asking if his song Goons started with a G or a C. So that's all I have for you today. Have a good day. Take care.
Hilarious. But yeah, man. Yeah, listen, family, Roland is probably in this room right now. Roland is probably in this room right now on one of his Finsta accounts. Yeah, of course they monitor what we do. That's their job. That's where you think you get that $350,000 for. Come on. Why would they give Roland's big jolly ass $350,000? They give him that money so that he can spy on us, find out what's going on, and then try to sabotage anything that the Grassroots is doing. That's why on his program, everything was about us, denigrating us, talking crap about us. The Black Grassroots, that's their job. Again, that's what Black outreach is. Look, the DNC, they already got the old Negro crowd, the old civil rights crowd. They already got them. They're going to vote blue no matter who. They just don't want nothing to happen with their Social Security check and their blood pressure medicine. That's it. They know they got them locked in. They don't want no changes to any policies because they don't want to end up paying $20 out of pocket for damn diabetes medication. Oh, well, yeah, we can't have Trump in here now. That's gonna cost me $15 a month. I can't have that now. We got to vote for Kamala. So yeah, you can scare the old Negroes. They know how to scare them. They start talking about their medication's gonna go up. You want a fixed income? Oh Lord, and I can't go down to the little catfish nugget place to get nothing with my income being like it is. So they scare them, but you're not scaring the non-senior crowd. And I'm not trying to denigrate the seniors. I'm not trying to denigrate you. But you can't scare the non-senior crowd. So Roland got all that money. I knew something was going on. I knew something was wrong. Boy, Roland got all that money. He been balling out with that money. I knew his stomach looked just a tad bit fatter after the 6. He was looking sad for 1 minute, but I guess when the check cleared, boy, that stomach got bigger. He looked like a big, black, greasy Buddha. Roland has been balling out. I knew something was wrong. I knew something was wrong because I went to Wingstop and they said they were all out of lemon pepper wings. Roland ate all of them, damn it. There's a nationwide shortage of lemon pepper wings. Roland just got all of them with that $350,000. Roland went out and bought a gold-plated George Foreman grill. He's balling the hell out with that $350,000.
Yo, I just want to say, shout out to Tariq Nasheed first and foremost. Black platform, he's huge, and while he might not be a media outlet, he definitely promote black businesses, and he promoted my business, and I have like several lifelong customers from even promoting. I need to do another promotion, but I'm like trying to reorganize my business and all of that. But shout out to Tariq Nasheed. Like, if you hear what Tariq Nasheed said, and I'm about to play Roland Martin's audio, if you hear what he said, I don't think his issue was him being paid. I think the issue was being a political, a democratic shield. A shield is a person who tries to entice people by the way of payment, political pundit, whatever way you want to call it. But I think it's the way that he tried to attack black men who had an opinion, and it wasn't just black men, it was black women as well. Now, before we get into this audio from Roland Martin, I want to say this. As a black media group, yes, you do deserve to be paid. I understand it. I understand that, ABC, Disney Channel, or whatever, the iHeartRadio, that they get paid in astronomical amounts. But let's not be foolish, right? We all have access to different things, especially this thing called Social Blade. Roland Martin, like, listen, and I understand you probably got staff and all of that too, but I seen him operating on his laptop and was controlling the screens in his studio, right? So I'm not sure what his expenses going out look like, right? But what I want to say is, Roland Martin, you make good money on that YouTube. Your average, you make hundreds of thousands of dollars on that YouTube channel per month. So I know that, listen, I think what it would be is that if you wanted to support Kamala, but see, I understand it's twofold. If you want to just support a person, you know, you can do that, but is it about the money? And what is the legality when it comes to like these media companies? First, you got to have the traction and the people in the audience, but it's just like, what makes you is a network just a name a person can apply and get, and then they can get this ad revenue? I don't know. But anyway, I just want to say that, like, you know, I don't think Roland Martin is hurting for any money, but I do understand it in a business sense that he does want to receive the ad dollars. Anyway, I don't want to keep talking about that. Let's get into this clip from Roland Martin and let's check this out.
Understand why they put media buy in parentheses, because that's what the $350,000 was for. It was for advertising. Then, of course, you have these people out here. I love the people who run their mouths on social media out here, like, you got Tariq Nasheed tweeting, like, you know, SMH, and then you got Jamal Green talking about, see, he was paid to attack us because we disagree with our positions. No, that means none of you, including you, Jamal, or Tariq, or any of y'all, even understand that media advertising is actually real. And so then I had one dude say, y'all didn't run any ads? Really? We ran this one.
Bob and I both voted for Donald Trump.
I voted for him twice. I won't vote for him again. January 6th was a wake-up call for me.
Donald Trump divides people. We've already seen what he has to bring.
He didn't do anything to help us.
We ran this one.
Kamala Harris has never backed down from a challenge. She put cartel members and drug traffickers behind bars, and she will secure our border.
Okay, and this one.
IVF is a miracle for us because it allowed us to have our family. After having my daughter, I wanted more children.
And this one.
Wrongfully convicted.
5 teenagers were arrested, tried, convicted, and sent to prison.
No men were exonerated.
What he did to us, he tried to end us.
Of course I hate these people.
And this one.
Had Steelers season tickets since I'm 7 years old, man. Me and my dad, that's our thing.
Here we go, Steelers! Here we go! Kick it!
I was a 7-year-old.
And this one.
Jill Stein, Green Party candidate for president. So why are Trump's close allies helping her? Stein was key to Trump's 2016 wins in battleground.
And this one.
In this town, we've seen our share of hard times, heard our share of big promises.
Up to 13,000 jobs.
But empty promises.
And this one.
Get it. The cost of rent, groceries, and utilities is too high. So here's what we're going to do about it. We will lower housing costs by building more.
And this one.
Philly Tough is different. They insult us.
Bad things happen in Philadelphia. Bad things.
They don't like us. We don't.
And this one.
Rich for Democratic leaders to say that Donald Trump is a unique threat to democracy when he peacefully gave over power. He is still.
And this one.
Winners never back down from a challenge. Champions know it's anytime, any place. But losers, they whine and waffle.
And this one.
A yinzer, I define it as somebody that bleeds black and gold, works hard, and cares about their family.
And this one.
He told us who he was.
Should abortion be punished? There has to be some form of punishment.
Then he showed us.
And this one.
78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems.
Oh, she had a big crowd. Oh, the crowd.
This weird obsession with.
And this one.
The overturning of Roe almost killed me. I had a blood clot in my uterus that caused my labor to have to be induced.
And this one.
2016, Donald Trump said he would choose only the best people to work in his White House. Now those people have
That's 16 different ads. And just so y'all know, the first ad that was purchased for Biden for president was in September 2023. Then they came back and did a small ad buy in February 2024. Then did another small ad buy in March of 2024. See, for the people out here, this is an actual media company. So there's this show, and there are other shows on the Black Star Network, okay? It's called a network. Here's what people also don't realize, is that political campaigns actually went to YouTube and purchased advertising to Google that actually ran during commercial breaks of this show. Oh, I'm sorry. So you got these silly Negroes, he got $350,000. It should have been $3.5 million. Confused here. So you got some black folks out here who now are questioning why he gets the money. Because we have a network that reaches millions of people. If I check right now, the YouTube dashboard, in the last 28 days, we will have generated 30 million views on YouTube alone.
Millions off YouTube.
Y'all do know ads run on Joe Rogan's podcast, right? You do know Spotify sells advertising. In fact, maybe, and I'm gonna get back to this one in a second, but I just want to show y'all something here. Because I don't think people really understand what the hell they're talking about. And that's primarily it's because they know nothing about this world that we're living in. How many of y'all are aware? How many of y'all are aware that the entire media ecosystem is built on advertising? Let me say this again. The entire media ecosystem is built on advertising. There's a thing that happens every year, and it happens in the spring. And it's called the TV upfronts. And in the TV upfronts, that's where almost 60% of all money is actually being spent. If you go to give me 1 second, if you go to my iPad, this is from Deadline. Upfronts 2024, where and when they're happening. So you go down here and you see all of this, the upfronts for all the networks. And it lays out the development strategies. And it lays out in terms of, look at all the networks. Look at all of this here. These are facts. So I hope now y'all understand what really went on. And let me be real clear. The proposal that we submitted was about $5 million. You damn right. The proposal that I submitted had advertising going from September 2023 to November. So you damn right. I asked for $5+ million. You know why? Because so did Disney and Comcast, as well as Viacom and Paramount and Warner Discovery and every other media company. So ain't no way in hell will I, the founder of a media company, apologize for doing what media companies do, and that is fight for advertising. Go to my panel. Ben, I want to start with you. This is the reality that these people know nothing. I love this person here. Rogan, I love this stupid ass person. Rogan didn't get any money. How in the hell do you think he got a $100 million contract from Spotify? Because Spotify gets money from advertising. This is the stupid stuff that these people don't know anything about. There's a reason Charlamagne and DJ Envy get paid what they do from the Breakfast Club because of the money that iHeart gets in advertising. There's a reason when you look at Good Morning America, where they pay Robin Roberts $25 million a year and George Stephanopoulos and Michael Strahan $25 million a year, they get advertising money. Ben, go ahead.
They apparently can't tell the difference between a show and a network, first of all. And I saw the entire exchange, particularly with Tariq Nasheed. I think he should tread carefully in this conversation since he has audio out of him saying where he got offered money from white supremacists. Whether or not he took it, that's a question for another day. Perhaps that's how he thinks you should have funded your show, your network, Roland, by taking money from white folks. Perhaps it was considered the money think about the money that even Vladimir Putin puts into media of $100,000 per episode, $100,000 per episode to American influencers by the name of Tim Pool. By the way, Jamal Green was on that show with the man who received $100,000 per episode from Vladimir Putin's network. Money is always spent in advertising, and it's always spent to spread the word. That's the only way it's going to get out. And that's exactly how they strangle the black message. That's how they kill the black message. They would rather you go get a watered down message from Charlamagne the God through white people, through white dollars, through a white company, than to come directly to a black media network. Why? Because it's going to be filtered. And it's not going to be until the end of the election season when Charlamagne the God decides to go out and say something positive and say his own message. But all the way through the entire season, the message was carefully curated by iHeartMedia. Right? And this is why we have so many black folks who thought that the thing to do was to sit out this election because it was the more sophisticated, the more intellectual thing to do, because they continue to get their messages funneled through white folks. Would they have been better? Would they have been okay if there was a white intercessor for you and that perhaps you would have gotten the money from a white person passed down to you, Roland Martin? That's what people like Tariq Nasheed, Jamal Green, that's what they're saying.
See, here's the whole deal. Listen, y'all, I'm trying to explain. What these people don't understand, Larry, and Charlamagne works for iHeartRadio. They own the Breakfast Club. That's fine. He can say whatever he wants. But the reality is iHeartRadio gets advertising money. It does. If I pull up right now, matter of fact, if I just pull up, and it's just a fact, it's just a fact that when you look at these media companies, they actually make their money from advertising. That's where their money comes from. iHeartMedia is a publicly traded company. That's what they are. And so they make revenue. And the reality is you can't grow a business unless you grow revenue.
Listen. We all know that. You can't grow a business without revenue. I want to say this. I understand that you can have a channel like this on YouTube. Tariq Nasheed can have a channel on YouTube. Roland Martin, he has a network, but he still has a channel. So I guess whatever fluff around it that he has a network, he has different channels or whatever. So maybe that's what it's called, a network. You know what I'm saying? So I guess if I had multiple channels and there's some sort of viewership that was higher, I could say that I have a network, and I could be in the race if I have millions of viewers per month, and I would be able to get advertising dollars essentially, right? Okay, I understand that. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to push that. Well, I think, like I said in the beginning of the video, I think Tariq's issue was how hard you was going at the blacks who were not for support of Kamala Harris and trying to ridicule them, denigrating them online, following, and like, yo, that's crazy. Like I said before, it was crazy to me how I felt like these were like underground conversations. It sounded like he subliminally responded to conversations from Twitter and, you know, people who be in the spaces and on YouTube and all of that. It sounded like he was responding to that. So somebody was bringing that information back. And Roland Martin, like they said, they felt as though that he was monitoring them online, which I think is probably true, because he probably just couldn't understand why didn't everybody want to vote for Kamala. I told y'all I voted for Kamala, but I did not have any faith in her winning. I didn't have any faith in the administration currently. Come on, look what's going on right now and with Russia and the Ukraine. United States allowed them to use our weaponry, and now it's at risk of starting the whole World War III. So come on. You understand this is under this administration. Biden signed off on all of that for Ukraine to use those, those missiles, whatever they were, right? So listen, I even had a conversation with my 70-year-old mother, and I asked her, why do we vote Democratic? Listen, I'm in Texas, so it's a red state. So I'm not going to say my vote didn't matter, but it's still a red state. I voted for Kamala, but I really didn't want to. I was actually upset about it. I went on my social media after, and I felt like I was cornered into doing it. Spoke to my 70-year-old mother about it. She said, we always vote Democratic, and we even had a conversation where she said she didn't even really believe in Kamala Harris, to be honest with you. She didn't even believe in it. She didn't think she was going to win, and we both shared that. I said, why do we vote Democratic? And I'm happy that Tariq Nasheed had a conversation about that, saying how like the Democratic Party, it was a whole setup from the civil rights movement where, you know, I can't remember who he said verbatim. I listened to a lot of his content, so I'm taking in a lot. But he was just saying that, you know, it was said that black people will be voting Democratic for years to come. So why do we have to feel, you know, loyal or like be loyalists to specific parties? If you don't identify with it, you just don't identify with it. But listen, I'm going to just say this, right? Roland Martin, he deserves to be paid if he's a network, in quotation. And, you know, even though I know his channel, he makes millions of dollars off YouTube AdSense. And talking about how political campaigns go to Google and pay to promote on channels. Yeah, I had ads running on my videos for the election. Another channel that I watch, Millionaire Morning Show with Anton Daniels, he talks a lot of politics talks. I watch a lot of different podcasts that talk about politics, and he said that he made a killing this year off of political campaign, off Democratic ads that was run all over his videos, and he was happy about it. So not only are you getting the ads, I think it's just about transparency, Roland Martin. Not only are you getting that money from your media company, we don't know, you know, and that's none of our business, but I'm just throwing it out there for conversation. We don't know what your employee bandwidth looks like, how many employees you got, associates or whatever, or these people who chime in, if they're just associates. We don't know who, you know, who you have to pay, what is going out. But I know on that YouTube channel, you get paid a nice coin. You get paid a nice coin on that channel. So listen, the money is coming in. So either you wanted to support Kamala and do it organically, but like I said, the flip side of it, I understand that if it's a business and you want me to run ads, like you posted 16 of them in your video, then you should be, I think that you should be compensated. But it's a difference from being compensated to promote and then also be a Democratic shield on top of it, and you know, also trying to shame people and denigrate the black community who were not standing behind Kamala Harris. I'm sorry, I just got a little mind flustered. So anyway, listen, potent, pondering, never pander. I want you to get in the comments. Let me know what you think about Tariq Nasheed's response to Tariq Nasheed's comments towards Roland Martin, and also Roland Martin's response back in regards to the whole matter. You know, again, business is business. I understand that, but I do believe it was bigger than you just being reimbursed for promoting, you know, and running ads. It was bigger than that. Like, you know, once you take it online and you be harassing people and stalking spaces and seeing what the conversation point is, so that you can run back and give the information to the DNC to hopefully combat it by the way of Obama doing multiple rallies. I want to know what the number was behind that. Why they ain't talking about that? Because I know he ain't do them rallies for free. Them rallies cost a pretty penny. So listen, potent, pondering, never pandering. Subscribe to this channel. Thumbs up the video. I'm up out of here. Peace.